Welcome back to another episode of Tea and Toys. This week we've got Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Cyclonus. Been waiting a long time for a goddamn decent Cyclonus figure, and here he is at long last. So let's have a quick little spin of the box. Again, the small window, because Hasbro are trying to use less and less plastic, so we get more artwork. So on the front, we get Cyclonus lunging forward with his blaster. And him in space cruiser mode. And we get the 3D renders on the back. And we still get the rank, division, and unit for Cyclonus. So looking at this, he is in the Air Force, obviously. He's Black Ops. And what's surprising here, he's only a captain. Have a word. If Soundwave's a major, he should be a major too. I also think Starscream should have been a major, not a captain, but there we are. So that's kind of a surprise that he's only a captain, according to the War for Cybertron ranking system. And he's got some green portal thing going on there. That's the top of the box. Decepticon logo. I just noticed something. And on the side artwork here, now, we have seen this picture before. Now, what's interesting about this is obviously the focal point is the Earth golden disc, which Megatron, G1 Megatron here, leaves a message on for future Decepticon descendants, i.e. the Predacons. So here we've got Beast Wars Megatron, Scorponok, Dinobot, Black Arachnia, and obviously Unicron, obviously playing a part in this guy's creation, Galvatron. And what is interesting here, I've noticed, you've got the good guys at the bottom, so the Maximal Crew, RC Optimus Prime, and you've got Rhinox. So you've got the good guys at the bottom, and what you think is bad guys at the top. Now we know Dinobot in the original Beast Wars was a flip-flopper. Black Arachnia turned into a flip-flopper, and by Beast Machines, Rhinox was also a flip-flopper of factions. So that's kind of interesting that they've done this. So baddies into goodies. Interesting that Rhinox is there. So I wonder what will come from the final chapter of the War for Cybertron. I really want to know what they're going to do with it. We know it's going to be time travel nonsense. And from the last video I did, I think I was wrong when I said that because of Galvatron, Megatron left a message for himself. I actually think in order to stop himself becoming Galvatron, that's why he left the message on the golden disc. Now, obviously, this could be complete nonsense because you'd have to have a lot of time streams for all this to work out. You'd have time stream 1, which would be the original G1 timeline, where Megatron becomes Galvatron. And then you'd have a timeline where Galvatron goes back in time, talks to G1 Megatron. G1 Megatron doesn't like him, so he leaves a message on this golden disc. Thus, a descendant of the Beast Wars Megatron coming back. There's a lot here. So maybe Galvatron's aware of this to stop the Beast Wars Megatron from happening and just killing Optimus Prime. But that is wholly for another video. Let's talk toys. Let's get him open. So before we get Cyclonus completely out of his box, the box slides out like this, and you'll get like a little section here that will come with a random card. Okay, so now we've got Cyclonus out of his box. Awkward.
Cyclonus, the warrior.
Thanks, Unicron. Thank you for that. Oh dear. Back in time just then. So here we have Cyclonus. Now there's a little bit of transforming, unfolding to do, I suppose. Straight out of the box, you've got to flip the wings round and extend the legs out, and then you'll have him in full robot mode. Make him right-handed. So there we have Cyclonus at long last. Looking forward to a nicely articulated Cyclonus. Now, I did really like and love the universe version I'm going to keep the Target Master that comes with it, the original one, and give it to this guy so he can have both of his guns. So I'm not going to be rebuying this toy, which I'll probably release as a Target Master and just stick a hole in his... No, he's already got the hole anyway. So there's probably release it as the Target Master version, rather frustratingly, as I'll probably do with the Studio Series Hot Rod and whatnot. But I'm not interested in doing that. But he's quite big, so it's hard to keep him in the shot here. He's quite tall. As a Voyager class figure, he's pretty tall. Now, obviously, all joking aside, let's get Skywarp back in shot. So I can stand up. Now, Skywarp here. Obviously, in some timelines, Skywarp is in fact turned into Cyclonus. The corpse of Skywarp even turned into Cyclonus. Or, as the forever argument, Bombshell is turned into Cyclonus. What's my preference? I don't know. Because I grew up with Skywarp as my first Transformer, I kind of always go for Skywarp, even though he's at the back. He's at the back in the scene. But there we go. That's enough of that. It's all about this guy. So let's have a quick run over of him. Yeah. Now, like I said, waiting a long time for this. And I like the colour. I like this like lavender purple bright colour. It's just straight out of the TV show. And I cannot wait to get the Scourge, the Studio Series Scourge, and the Kingdom Galvatron, which is heavily rumoured to be coming out. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to putting these three together. The Transformers the movie Decepticon trio, the new toys you had to buy that year. But yeah, just look at the articulation. This is so good. They got arms up like that. They can go all the way around. Oh yeah, there's a bit more motion there. Obviously, there's a big gap there. But you pull these out from out of the box, and he stands nice and tall. That is so good. Right. It's hard to get him in the shot. Let's try and move the camera a bit. Ugh, big old boy. So I've got another Voyager to the side here. Obviously, we've looked at Skywarp. Let's go for Siege Springer. Somebody also introduced in Transformers the movie, and probably be released in the Studio Series at some point as well. I hope it's not too departed from this. Although a character missing from the Siege animation. You whack him in the toy line, but you don't bother putting him in the show. But yeah, so I actually thought that Springer was quite a big Voyager toy. Now, looking at him next to Cyclonus, Cyclonus towers over him. Absolutely towers over him. So I have to get a leader class Prime out as well, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, instead of Optimus Prime, this is Double Dealer. Arguably, the true leader-sized figure from Siege and Earthrise, as both Optimus Prime is a Voyager class figure with the trailer. Shockwave and Astro Train are just Voyager figures with accessories you clip onto them. Even them, let's get them head to head. Double Dealers. So he's only, if it wasn't for the long head on Cyclonus, like eye to eye, Double Dealer is slightly taller than Cyclonus here, but wow. Which means Beast Wars Megatron it must be about here. Now, we've got to wait until next month for Beast Wars Megatron. Now, in saying, I think Beast Wars Megatron is probably going to be too big. And I'm sure there's going to be some issues with that, but we're not on him just yet. We're still on Cyclonus. So yeah, looking at the true leader-sized figure of Double Dealer here. Cyclonus is essentially the same size. Just less features, because obviously he can be some weird rocket base. Another thing that I did notice when looking at the instructions for Cyclonus before I was going to transform him. Now, we know that the Siege packaging consisted of the rank division logo was inside the insert, the cardboard insert inside the box, and it was on the instructions. I don't have a Siege one here, and the Earthrise instructions, most of them would have it here. Obviously, Runabout is a bad example, it's the only one that's close to hand, but it was depicted on the instructions for both Siege and Earthrise. But the only way to maintain this bit of information, if you care about it or not, is to keep the box. I don't keep boxes. Never do. I just don't do that. The rank, unit, and division is no longer depicted on the instructions, which I've got to say I'm a little bit disappointed in, because it's something that I've sort of taken to. Yeah, definitely not on there. No. Nope, not even on the back section there. And no cross cell either. So that's disappointing. That is disappointing. I might do a video going over all the different logos and whatnot. Maybe it's something that never took off. People just haven't really cared about it. No, there's been no interest, no hits on the website. But it's a shame. Now, do something I don't usually do. I've also got Optimus Primal. He's still boxed. And as I'll cover it in that video, the Maximal characters and the Predacon characters, they will not have the rank insignia. Well, actually, looking at that, you've got a claw strike going over where Optimus Primal has a footprint of an ape, and I think Rat Trap's got the footprint of a rat, or a caveman drawing of a rat, and there's Cheetor's the same, so on and so forth. So that's a shame that's being taken away from the Beast Wars type characters, because I don't see why they wouldn't still have ranks and divisions. But that's a shame. So yeah, we'll look at Optimus Primal again when he's open. I said I'll look at this card now. Oh yeah, it peels off quite easily. So there's the reveal. So these cards are meant to reveal like a possible future for each character. As that's important for this is that Dinobot is being called a Predacon, and when you peel back the sticker, obviously the faction is the Predacon bug head and the Maximal wolf head, and it's a picture of Dinobot with. I was going to say it looks like Cheetor's on there, Air Razor, Scorpion, Beast Wars Scorponok, Rat Trap, and Black Arachnia. Obviously the only. So that's interesting, but it doesn't really. Do you know what? It doesn't tell you anything. It's like, oh, it could be a goodie or a baddie, and here's the picture. I don't know. Is that a gimmick that's a thing? I don't know. Picture's nice though. You know, I'll keep them with the toy. Speaking of which, let's get this guy into jet mode, and we'll have a little scoot at that as well. Quite impressed with the amount of articulation. So both hands. So both hands swivel on Cyclonus as well. Unlike the Universe version, where they didn't, and one of the hands on the Universe version was fully cast. You couldn't actually put a gun in that hand. It wasn't until the set with the sweep in it, where they actually gave him two hands that he can hold two guns. So daft when they do things like that. So I'm actually quite impressed with the amount of movement and articulation this guy's got. Absolutely nice. I am so happy for this. This is good. Now, does he have... Oh, he has got some light piping, so he can sort of have a light shining through his eyes as they glow in evil. Yeah, really, really looking forward to seeing what happens in Kingdom. I really am. But no delay. Let's get this jet mode on. Okay, so here we have Cyclonus in jet mode. Again, a very good representation of what we see on screen, especially in the cartoon. Probably one of the biggest annoyances is on mine. I can't get these sections to sit flush. They just keep bouncing out. I have sort of transformed it back and forth a couple of times to try and get that corrected, but unfortunately no luck. So he is like that. That's a quick comparison with the Universe one. Oh, all right, that's come apart. Embarrassing. So there we have my old Cyclonus. Again, I love this. I always love this figure. It's a good little figure. And you can see the landing gear is essentially in the same place. There, 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 and there. And he does actually stand on the landing gear, so he's not like using other parts of the body aren't resting on the surface where he's being rested. One thing that is a shame is you can get the gun, and obviously you can insert the gun on top of the plane like that. But what I would have liked is two guns to clip in on the wings, so you can have him with 2 wing cannons as well. So if at some point there is a if but maybe a spare Cyclonus gun that anyone may or may not want to sell me, I'd like to pick up another one just to have an asymmetrical look on Cyclonus. But outside of them not supplying 2 guns, which in all fairness they do not have to, and this not being flush, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with it. Well, let's get him back to robot mode and do a couple of other comparisons, some other Transformers toys. Okay, so we have Cyclonus back in robot mode. Again, a very poseable character. Absolutely fantastic. Now, one thing I didn't mention is I found the gun to be quite a brittle plastic. So that's something to keep an eye on. As I'll show you, it's quite, you can see it's quite holy and hollow. And let's give it a quick, if you can give it, just sounds like, and it feels like a plastic that will snap easily in time. So be careful, because the pegs on the fists are quite tough to get it in. So just a warning. I'm not saying it will break, I'm saying it could break. So just be careful when trying to slot it in there. And let's give them a look at his former selves again. Skywarp and Bombshell. Yeah, I do find it a shame. I've never liked when they have one character turn into another character where they are completely different. And in this case, we've actually got 2. We lose 2 Decepticons, 2 unique Decepticons, and gain Cyclonus. So we lose 2, gain 1. Well, we lose 2, we only get 1 in return, actually, in saying that. And I've never liked that they did that in the movie. Like with Megatron, Galvatron, I can kind of suck it up a little bit for the sake of the story and the dialogue of the script with the whole Starscream death scene. I do much prefer that these 3 separate characters are in fact 3 separate characters, because they are so very different. Like there's no attributes from Skywarp going to Cyclonus, except that maybe they're jets. And obviously Cyclonus doesn't have a cloning type facility, which again isn't really explained away with the Insecticons, but obviously I think it was an intended idea, because you get 2 Cyclonuses in the movie, which was very early dropped, and you get like a small, teeny, tiny remnant of that in the Five Faces of Darkness episodes. But aside from that, with me preferring these characters separate, Skywalker Bombshell should have just been killed off in the Battle of Autobot City. The figure itself, I'm happy with. And one thing I also did forget is when he's in the package, these wing flaps are actually still down. So to complete the transformation, you've got to fold them back up like that on both sides. But a very good figure for displaying and posing. So yeah, very good. What else would I have wanted? Oh yeah, a second gun. Again, that's not Hasbro's fault because it doesn't come with two guns. And maybe they should have just have done a Target Master for him. I don't know. Because I'm definitely going to be giving him the Nightstick from the Universe version. Okay, it's not the same purples, but at least Nightstick stands out this way. All in all, I'm happy with it. I am genuinely happy with Cyclonus. So as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe and make comments, and I'll see you guys in the Optimus Primal video.